Today, we are picking a stock in the Indian metal space. A recent IPO announcement in the US market put Asia's largest integrated aluminium manufacturer and world's largest flat-rolled product manufacturer on radar. However, last week during the earnings call, they mentioned about mismanagement of Capex resulting in 100% increase to the tune of $4.1 billion. Management attributed it to higher civil and construction costs. The share has underperformed against Nifty index as it's trading at the same price which it was back in 2021. Are there enough reasons for the metal flagship of Aditya Birla Group to revive? चलिए जानते हैं. तो शुरू करते हैं एक अनबायस्ड कवरेज जस्ट बेस्ड ऑन फैक्ट्स ऑन द वर्ल्ड्स लार्जेस्ट एल्यूमिनियम रोलिंग एंड रिसाइकलिंग कंपनी एंड एशियाज लार्जेस्ट प्रोड्यूसर ऑफ प्राइमरी एल्यूमिनियम Hindalco. My name is Ashish Thomas I am graduate and a management consultant. My job is to evaluate firms, understand their risks and anticipate market moves. And I thought why not apply all of that to the stock market. So here we are and let's jump right in. As with our previous videos, we begin with an industry analysis and then move on to the business model. We take a peek under the hood of its financials. फिर इसके बाद कंपनी के रिस्क देखेंगे and finally the valuations. With that preamble, let's dive in to understand the winds of change in the industry. The global aluminium market is growing at a CAGR of 5.5%, copper at 6.2% and flat rolled products at 6.7%. It's also projected that the aluminium consumption will nearly double in India, which is already the second largest producer of aluminium after China. This same trend is expected in the copper market too. इसके growth के भी 2-3 basic reasons हैं. One, across industries there's a lot of demand for lightweight materials. अब ये cast हो गए automotive industry के लिए या extrusions in construction जो doors and windows पर दिखते हैं. Aluminium is inexpensive when compared to steel, plus has a very good electrochemical performance. Another reason is the high demand for sustainable products, so recycled aluminium and firms that recycle them are gaining in prominence. Hindalco जो Novelis के through is the world's biggest recycler of aluminium, 61% share in the market. And finally, electrification, the drive has globally increased the need for copper wiring as well as aluminium for making all the equipments. So that's why this is a sunrise industry. A lot is happening, a lot of growth is happening in this industry. Let's move on to our next section. We start with a quick glance on the highlights of the firm and then move on to understand the competitive edge and strategy by the company. This will be followed by all the news that the firm is making in the market. Hindalco has nearly 65 years of experience in mining aluminium, copper and flat rolled products, जैसे कोक के cans हो गए, and also now into specialty chemicals. ये aluminium का largest integrated producer है, largest custom copper smelter है, and इनके products around 34 countries में बिकते हैं across several verticals. They have 19 manufacturing units in India, 33 overseas, and 21 mining operations for bauxite. In addition, Hindalco is the largest supplier of copper to the Indian railways and meets more than 50% of India's copper's requirement. There are three things that are giving Hindalco a competitive edge based on its current strategy. Now, there are three things that gives Hindalco a competitive edge based on its current strategy. The strategy of transitioning to a manufacturing solution provider has changed the game for Hindalco. It no longer just mines bauxite and manufactures aluminium, but also is providing electric battery casing for automotive industry, aluminium paneling for goods trains or passenger trains, aluminium-based trailers for commercial vehicles. So they have diversified from a product perspective. With its integrated factories, Hindalco has a complete control over its supply chain. And finally, this Birla Group company has been focusing on developing capacity, the rolling facility for Novelis in Alabama, aluminium body sheet factory in Guthrie in US, and has also been strengthening the backward integration by purchasing stakes in renewable energy firm and purchasing the Chakla mine for coal. So a lot of things to prevent anybody to enter into the market easily. And in the news, there are 4 major areas that are impacting Hindalco. उन्होंने काफी acquisitions किए हैं in couple of energy firms as recent as Jan 2024. There are 3 major deals in packaging with Coca-Cola and other companies, joint R&D which they are doing with Airbus right now. It has secured its raw material supply by signing long-term bauxite ore supply with Odisha Mining Corporation. And finally, the new expansion business, which in example as a battery fulfillment manufacturing. So definitely a lot of news that it has made in the market over the last year. And finally, we'll take a look at the news which we started off with. The additional nugget here is that Hindalco decided to go public with its rolled product subsidiary Novelis a few days ago. Now, this IPO announcement came after the earnings call announcement, where they talked about the mismanagement of Capex, which management had justified using the construction costs increase. However, they increased nearly doubling the Capex by 2 billion to 4 billion, so the timing is really questionable right now. Now, as to the sale itself, this is not a new sale. All the cash raised will go to Hindalco Group's balance sheet. Hindalco is already a firm which is cash rich, so there's no clarity on how this cash is going to be used, whether it's the stakeholders who will get dividends or whether it will be used to pay some of the Novelis debt. And finally, the IPO size is unknown, so yet to know if it is an attractive valuation. However, if it is attractive, it will allow Novelis to raise more cash in the future to pay off its debt, and Hindalco's own valuation might rise in the domestic market. With that, let's move on to our next section, which is the financials. Numbers don't lie. Before we go there, आपने काफी सारे stock videos देखे होंगे, but very few are going into the kind of depth like we are going today. So please go ahead and like the video if you haven't already, and do subscribe. वहाँ bell icon होगा, वहाँ पे all notifications click कीजिएगा so that you're up to date with all the company analysis that I'll be launching. I'm launching one analysis every 3 days, and we have over 2,000 stocks to cover. So content तो काफी आने वाला है. Some typing and a quick search later. So Hindalco in 2023 rose by 14% last year in its revenues. While there were inflationary challenges and high input costs, the copper business led the growth with its highest ever copper rod sales. Another reason for this increase was the value-added products that Hindalco Novelis has launched. So a lot of sales happened there. EBITDA, however, fell down due to the high energy costs because of the geopolitical instability and less than favorable metal benefits that we were getting. PAT had the similar trend as with the EBITDA. On the operational front, operating cash flow was positive. There's a lot of Capex which is planned. So as expected, their cash flow is negative at the moment. The ratios right now are moderate to poor. However, with some capacity expansion being completed in the next 2 years, there's a slight chance of improvement of ratios. Now, equity research analysts have predicted that the share price is going to grow by almost 22%. Its revenue growth is expected to be growing by 4% and profit growth at 6%. They are banking on the demand for new Novelis product mix, higher copper usage, and the input mix improvement that they have done with all these captive mines now. In terms of the ownership, the shareholder pattern is stable. There are no insider buying or selling of additional shares in the market. FIIs have consistently improved their stake in Hindalco from 25% in December 2021 to now 28% in December 2023. With every great investment comes some noteworthy risk. So इनका पूरा business revolves around aluminium prices, and any change can significantly impact the profitability. It's also true for the copper side of the house too. They have a need to create value-added products continuously so that they don't get relegated to just a mining player, which is against the strategy that we heard. With natural depletion of the resources, काफी regulatory requirements हैं इन companies पे, and इनके compliance काफी costly होते हैं. And finally, काफी Capex चल रहा है. With the mismanagement which has happened, any kind of cost increase which will happen will result in significant financial pressure in the market on Hindalco. With that, the most awaited section, or what I really think is important, the valuation. Now, this is my football field valuation model, and you have seen this already in the previous videos. अगर आप equity research targets देख रहे हो, तो their low is as 590 and goes high as 640. When I ran the relative valuation and looked for trading comparables, I used Natco, Man Aluminium, Vedanta, Arfin, among others. Relative valuation actually came out really high, so around between 784 to 839. So they are undervalued by an industry perspective, which is actually true if you look at some of the peer numbers too. I'll also add that the stock is currently trading at a PE of 12, which is better than the market median of 25.2. The undervalued, that's the reason. And its book value is around 443 rupees, which is very close to its actual price today at 520. And its intrinsic valuation of the DCF, which is अगर आप सिर्फ financials को देखो और project करो, it's coming out to be between a healthy 550 and 640. With a WACC of 11.3% and a long-term growth of 6.5%. So the stock is undervalued at the moment with a potential upside of 15 to 20%, which is a really good, decent move from a market perspective. So final thoughts. अगर आप लोगों को अच्छा लग रहा हो वीडियो तो जरूर लिखना what is the next share you want me to look into, and do not forget to click on the bell icon to get all the notifications. The goods, the strong vertical integration, high demand, captive input, the ownership of the mines, energy firms, strong balance sheet, all is looking good from a numbers as well as the broader business perspective for Hindalco and Novelis. Now the Capex in Novelis, the mismanagement which happened, a lot of Capex is yet to come, so that becomes dicey as a decision, and very average ratios because, while it is comparable at an industry basis, but from a market basis, it's not really promising from a ratio perspective. So I think, in my opinion, finally, there are some goods to bad for Hindalco with the potential upside of 15 to 20%. I would think of holding on to the stock if you already have it. For entering into the market, I would need some clarity on this entire Novelis IPO piece and some correction to happen. So the buy on dips would be some kind of strategy that I would go into. With that, that's my time for today. I hope this has given you a great starting point as you think about Hindalco as a share. Do like the video. Please drop in a comment if you like something or anything that I should change. आपके comments काफी valuable रहेंगे. So thank you for commenting so far and please continue to do so as I build this channel. Do subscribe to the channel if you haven't already and please share this video with like-minded investors. Do note that I'm not SEBI registered, so these are my independent view and analysis. Please do your own research and let me know about what you think about Hindalco as a firm and a share. Thank you.